Hi, my name's Rob Kennedy. Welcome back to my videos. In this video, I'm going to show you how I repair this totally busted knife handle. The ebony bolster has come off. It was broken in two. I glued it back together and then thought someone else might get some use out of this. It came out because I was going to restore this Aritsugu Usuba, and I didn't realise it. I don't think they still do it, but the practice here is to swage on a piece of pipe, and in the whole assembly, the first of all the bolster goes on, then they push this on, and then they have a hole in there and they push it all down together and glue it into one major assembly. You cannot get the knife out to do any maintenance on the blade without busting the whole thing apart. So in short, what's going to happen is that I've glued that together, and I'm going to, when I put that on there, back onto the rest of the handle. Now, to do it properly, I'm just going to make a short wooden plug that will go into this hole to just hold it while the glue sets, and then I can, if need be, when there's a new knife blade to go in there, I can just drill through maybe 1 centimetre of timber so that I can allow the new tang to go in. Now I've got a few choices about how to fill this hole. Now it's quite massive, and I have actually got an ebony handle that I chipped off a knife that where the blade was starting to rust and come away from the timber. I had to make a new handle for that, so I've got some leftover ebony that I can use for bits and pieces like this. I may or may not do that. I'll just see how this whole thing comes together. What we may do, or probably will do actually, is to use a timber filler for this portion, and that's an exercise in matching the timber putty colour to ebony, and the timber putty colour is not actually black. It's a very deep grey, so we'll have to make some modifications to that. When I've got this together, I'll come back, but in the process will be a fairly brief one, where I'll just sand that off on this table with a piece of coarse sandpaper, sand off any glue on this piece of the bolster. I'll make that plug fit this, and I'll come back then. Okay, I'm back. I've made that plug and sanded, even after I glued it, I sanded it again to make sure we had a good clean flat surface. And I've marked my sides. Now, Mr. Kyle, my old woodwork teacher, would be impressed that I actually listened. Failed woodwork, but I do remember he said, mark your sides. And so I've marked those so that when I'm gluing, I know which side fits best, because it doesn't fit as well this way around. So originally it went on this way. So I've got that marked. Now I'm going to use a slower drying glue, and I'm going to clamp that together to hold it for 24 hours. And by then that'll be ready for the next repairs to go on. I'll get back to you then. Okay, back. As you can see, I've glued the bolster back on, and what we're going to do now is fill this area with Timbermate wood filler, and we're going to just adjust the colour of the Timbermate wood filler with some phthalo blue ink, or phthalo blue. I'm just going to add a drop to that because the Timbermate putty, whatever you want to call it, I only use this brand. It's because it's what the hardware store in town stocks. It dries a deep grey, so if you add just one drop of ink, this phthalo blue ink in there, it just darkens it up a little bit. So I'm going to mix that up. just now. We'll need a fair bit of this. I don't know exactly how much. I was originally toying with the idea of putting in, cutting some ebony to shape, which you'd still see probably a very fine crack. Okay, so this ink is very runny. You just need, I just put a few drops on the side and then scrape it over with an artist's palette knife and then mix it. You don't want to add too much ink because you can make it a little bit runny, and that will prolong the drying time slightly. Now, because this is a very deep crack, I would say it's nearly 3 millimeters deep, I'm going to just loosely fill it, let it dry, and then I'm going to top it up. I'm going to see also, I'm going to keep some of the putty or wood filler aside so that I can actually add some shellac to it or oil or whatever, and just see how well it comes, how closely to the end colour that we want it comes up. Now that's about the right consistency. You can add water to this, I suppose. And we're just going to force that into this gap here. And these things invariably take 2 or 3 goes to get right. And that's all right. Okay, doesn't look like much, but we have filled the gap. You can see the cracks there. You know, something like that will probably take 3 goes before you get it remotely correct. So this will take about an hour or so to dry, because it's nearly filled up the entire receiver for the tang. So when that's dry, I'll come back to you. Okay, so that's dry now, and I've matched, I think I've reasonably well matched the timber filler with the ebony that's there, so I'm fairly happy with that. Now what I'm going to do now is sand this off, because it would appear that it also needs 2 minor repairs here. There's cracks in this wood here. Now if I can get to the bare timber while I'm sanding this all back, then I can use, I can start at the Timbermate that's pine, and I can add either a red or a sienna or something like that to match that wood. But I need to get down to the wood first, and then I'll sand that, and that'll bring this back to square, and then I'll refill it, and when I'm doing that I'll take you through the next step. Hi, okay, so I've used 180 grit sandpaper to cut this all back, and it's pretty it's still octagonal, and you can see that's where the major chip was earlier, and it's a little bit light at the moment, but that's fine, because when you either wax it or shellac it, it will darken naturally, but I believe it's a little bit light, so I'm going to add some sienna and blue to the ebony timber filler, and then for these cracks, these little cracks here, I'm just going to use the pine version of the same product, and I don't think I'll tint it, and so I'll do that now, and that's why I keep all my larger offcuts of paper, sandpaper, because they make great mixing palettes, because they are waterproof and will take some of that on, take some of the fluid from the Timbermate. And I'll leave that. Just wipe that off. So now back to the ebony Timbermate. And once again, we've got phthalo blue. I'll just drop a few drops there. And sienna. Same again, a couple of drops there. Mix it in thoroughly. Those of you that have ever mixed paint will know that brown and blue, particularly phthalo blue, and that's spelled P-H-T-A-L-O, goes a very, very dark brown or black. That's going to be good enough. Let's see, that space is nearly full, so we're just going to run that up. There's still a chip up the top here that needs to be filled. Still there, it's a whopper. I'll just leave a bit of that over that. And that's what it looks like now. I'll let that dry. Probably not quite as long, maybe half an hour this time, and that'll probably be almost ready to go. Okay, so I'm back. I've filled all the cracks and sanded them back with 320 grit paper, and then given it a quick coat of French polish or shellac. There we are. As I say, one coat of shellac just to seal the wood, just to stop crap getting into it. And that's the repair we did, and it's almost invisible. Just remember that wood filler is itself not a great support. It's best for filling chips. Thanks for watching.